What's going on, guys? I'm back with some more Madden 12, and a lot of people were commenting about this lately and requested this video because many people like the team that I drafted in my Atlanta Falcons fantasy draft franchise, and they wanted to see some tips for drafting your own fantasy team and creating a solid squad to work with. And so here you can see some of the players that I drafted in my Falcons franchise, and I'm going to transition in here now to a brand new fantasy draft I did, and I'll let you guys know what I was thinking about during this draft. But I had the 31st pick in the draft, so I have one of the last picks in the first round. But the nice thing is that I'm going to be able to have one of the first picks in the second round. And I'm looking through here. I almost always go defense with my first selection. I think I can do better with worse players on offense overall wise and ratings wise compared to doing that with defense. So I almost always go defense, but here I'm just assessing what is available right now at every position, and I end up going with Nnamdi Asomugha. I like going with a linebacker or a corner first off, and then I kind of keep looking at offense. I kind of keep players in the back of my head who I want to draft at certain positions. Like quarterback, I always like to go for Cam Newton. I go for Brian Urlacher because I want a good middle linebacker. He's fast. He's got 83 speed. I consider that fast for a linebacker. And he's got pretty good coverage ability, and I like linebackers with high zone coverage ratings because I don't like to blitz all the time. And then I go for Brandon Marshall because I like having a possession receiver over a burner. Him and Larry Fitzgerald are two of my favorite receivers to work with in this game. And probably two of the positions I will wait a long time to draft every time is running back and quarterback, because decision making is all about you, the player, and there's a lot of lower rated running backs that I can be good with. And here I'm looking at Mike Iupati, and what I do is I don't just look at overalls. I mean, overalls are important if you want to see who the computer is going to draft, but I'm looking at actual ratings because I want to see if I have to take a guy now or if I can take a guy later. And I end up going for Chris Myers because I think I can get Mike Iupati later. And if you look here at running back, most of the greats are gone. Only 81 overalls and less are left. But I know some lower-rated running backs I like to work with. James Starks is a guy I wouldn't mind having as my starter. Decent speed, good acceleration, pass-catching ability. I like him a lot. And now I'm going to go back and get Mike Iupati. So I have two great pieces for my offensive line. And I have not drafted anything for my defensive line, but I like Jonathan Babineau. I've played with him before. He's in my Falcons franchise. I know he's dependable at defensive tackle. And here, Brian Orakpo, probably my favorite linebacker in the league, but I didn't want to go for him in this situation. And Adrian Wilson is still available, and I was wondering how long it would take before the computer jumps on those strong safeties. And then I'm looking at a pass blocker for my left tackle, and Jermon Bushrod, very good ratings, and he's an 82 overall, and you can see there's a lot of guys in front of him, so I know I can wait on getting a left tackle for a couple more rounds, probably. So I'm going to go with Adrian Wilson, because I play a lot of zone defense, and I need to have dependable safeties in my scheme, and like Mario Williams is still available, but I'm really focusing on coverage, not so much run stopping and pursuit. I usually don't have too much of a problem with that, so I focus mainly on stopping the pass. And now I'm going to go on offense and get Aaron Hernandez over guys like Jermichael Finley and Tony Gonzalez, because Hernandez has some better ratings than Jermichael Finley. And then I'm going to get Mario Manningham as my second receiver because I played with him as well. Very good receiver. And you can see here Jermon Bushrod is still available, one of the top tackles, and I'm going to take him now after waiting on him for a couple of rounds. So that paid off for me there. I keep guys in the back of my head. It's good to write stuff down while you do this too, because you don't want to forget about somebody. You should write their overall, some of their ratings. Now I go Prince Amukamara because I definitely want to have a good secondary, and that's already a good 1-2 right there with Amukamara and Asomugha. Especially if you're going to go multiple seasons. Having Amukamara probably going to go into the 90s after a couple of seasons at least. And then here, I was thinking about Nate Burleson, but I think 3 receivers this early is not necessary, so I go with Antoine Bethea. That gives me 2 great safeties, and Nnamdi Asomugha. My secondary is already looking very good, but I waited too long to get Cam Newton, so I kind of screwed myself a little bit. I like having someone that's mobile and who can throw short and medium passes accurately. I was looking at Ryan Mallett, but he's way too slow for me, but I found somebody else, someone I haven't really played with, that I think I can really work with. And I wasn't going to take Christian Ponder in this situation. The guy I want is Jake Locker. 83 speed, very solid accuracy ratings. He's 76 and 79 for short and medium. That would get better with progression and franchise mode. I think that's still a great pick for me. I could work with Jake Locker. And then I get Pierre Garçon to be my slot receiver. Either him or Manningham would be my slot receiver. And I neglected defensive end at this point, so I'm going to get Matt Shaughnessy because he has pretty good ratings for pursuit and block shedding. Then I was looking at Brooks Reed, or a cover linebacker, and Brooks Reed's ratings were horrible for coverage, so I knew I had to go somewhere else. I'm going to go Geno Hayes in this situation. Good zone coverage. I play a lot of zones, so I knew Geno would fit my style. So you just got to know what you want to do firsthand. You got to know what you want your team to be. Do you want to be like me and run a lot of twin tight ends? What's your defensive scheme going to be? You play a lot of man, you play a lot of zone, and Jimmy Smith here in the 17th round. He's my third corner, 92 man coverage, 86 zone. Those are crazy ratings. Those are ratings for a number 1 cornerback. He needs to be my number 3 or my number 2. And so here, I just wanted to take a running back because I didn't want to wait too long. I don't know when the computer goes and gets backups. And Roy Halou has some better attributes than James Starks, so I went with him over Starks. And now I'm going to go get Phil Taylor, good power, good block shedding, and that's what I want for my defensive tackles, be able to collapse the pocket and stop runs up the middle. So I get Phil Taylor, already have Jonathan Babineau. I usually neglect defensive end, that's pretty much a usual for me. And now here, Russell Allen, pretty good zone coverage from a linebacker standpoint. That's what I like to see, so I'm going to take him. And I've just been drafting players that fit my team and fit the style I like to play. Now, with my first 20 picks, I was very happy. I go and get Kenyon Coleman now, and Derek Morgan's still available. I had him in the back of my head for some backup D-line depth, but I was very happy with the draft so far. And I'm going to go now and get a right guard. I mean, I've focused a lot on secondary. I've gotten some good pieces from my offensive line. I've gotten receivers I like, a quarterback I can work with, a running back. I'm overall very happy, and I get Sam Shields. He plays for Green Bay, 97 speed. He can do returns. He's very fast. I like him a lot. And now I go back and get Derek Morgan. And now I don't run behind a fullback a lot, but if I have offensive linemen that are on cold streaks or I'm just not able to stop the inside pressure, I like to get a fullback, a decent one just in case. And now here I was looking at Randall Cobb as like a 4th receiver. I was keeping him in the back of my head, but I want to get Bear Pasco because I want my second tight end to be someone that can block in my twin tight end sets. And now I want a spell back for Roy Halou that can have a little bit of power. And DeLone Carter had the good mix of what I like in a backup running back. And now I'm looking at Shane Vereen as my 3rd down running back. He's got like 90 speed. And if you look here at the rounds, I'm skipping around a little bit. I show like the first 20-some picks, and now I'm just skipping around to some more of the highlights. And I get Joe Webb, pretty much always going to be my second quarterback. I can play with him. And you can see here my top 10, Nnamdi, Urlacher, Marshall, Myers, Iapati, Babineau, Wilson, Hernandez, Manningham, and Bushrod. Now, if I had to redo one of those picks, I might have redone Hernandez because I wonder if I could have got him later. But I still think overall, this team that I drafted would be very solid to play with, and they definitely fit my style of play. I mean, the secondary is definitely very good, and my linebackers are decent. Not the greatest defensive line, but good defensive tackles, good offensive line, solid receivers, running backs I can work with. I could play with this team, and I did save this in case I do decide to play it later in like a live stream or something, but for the most part, I was very happy with this. Just know what positions are important. Like, I don't value quarterback. I don't value running back. Yeah, I like running with guys like Jamal Charles and Arian Foster and Adrian Peterson, but I can make do with a running back like Roy Halou, and if you can make do with some lesser players at certain positions, you should definitely do that. But anyways, guys, that is the way I draft a fantasy team. I take my time when I make my picks. I check ratings. I keep guys in the back of my head, and I know what I want beforehand so I can go and have a plan and execute the draft. And I think I knocked this one out of the park. I think this was a great draft for me. So let me know what you guys think. I'll see you guys later. Hope you guys enjoyed the video.